bonus episode time here at Bronze and Modern Godsville. I'm John. That guy over there is Richard. Hey there.
Hey, John, how you doing today?
I'm okay. I'm here to remind everybody to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Bronze and Modern Gods. And if you like our videos, you know the deal. Like them, subscribe, hit the notification bell, bing, bong, bing, bong, bong, Dr. Bong. Leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform. All those things that help us reach new folks, which is happening a lot lately. We're getting a lot of views there out of the blue. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's exciting.
This is one of our bonus episodes. If you're new around these here parts, this is when we all of a sudden I became an old prospector from West Virginia.
God damn it.
I found some gold here. This is a bonus episode. That's where we take your questions and your comments and we answer them or fling them to you, the public, to answer for us. We also have the Instagram Market Watch this week with our good friend Bill from Elite_Comics11. 3 big sales on Instagram this week that we will cover for you. But let's get right into viewer mail.
You've got mail.
And I've got the first one. It is from Jeff, who emailed us at our email address, bronzeandmoderngods@gmail.com. Hey, guys, if you had a lower grade book with an unauthenticated signature on the cover and could choose to receive a green or blue label, for which would you pick? Now, green, it means it's qualified. That means there's a major flaw in the book, but they'll grade it otherwise as if the flaw does not exist, but they give it a green label to differentiate it. Whereas blue is the universal label where they take everything into account, including the signature as a flaw. So I've heard that lower grade books with a SIG on the cover won't necessarily take a grade hit for a blue label. I've never heard that, but that might be true. Whereas a higher grade would. So a 2.0 with a signature might stay a 2.0, but a 9.8 may go down to an 8.0. That is accurate. Which would you do? Green or blue, Richard?
I would submit it to CBCS.
There you go. That is the answer. We are not saying that because we're being paid by CBCS. It's just that they offer signature authentication services. You know what I'm saying? It's like they'll authenticate that signature.
Right.
Now, if you really want to go the CGC route, my vote is to go universal blue. You cannot lose with the universal blue. Well, it also depends on what you want. Are you selling it? Are you keeping it? Is it something you'll never get rid of? Maybe green's the way to go. Green's the way you ought to be.
Yeah, I mean, if it's for
the hillbillies.
Wow, you're really pulling out the accents today.
I know what's going on. Go ahead. Sorry.
If it's for the PC, it really doesn't matter, right? You're probably slabbing it for protection, not necessarily for the grade. Just get it slabbed with the green label and be happy with that grade, and it's going to stay in your house and probably no one else is going to see it. If you ever plan on selling it, though, even if you have an inkling that at some point you may upgrade to something off a higher grade, you probably want to go ahead and take the grade hit, get the blue label, because the blue label will sell faster than a green label will sell.
I like your tough love. Get the green label and live with it.
Yeah, live with it.
Or just go to CBCS. I think that's probably
that's what I would do. I've done that with books. I had a signed J. Scott Campbell book that I sent off to CBCS, came back at 9.8 and yellow label. So
there you go. Perfect. What's your first piece of viewer mail there?
My first piece is from Nick Parrish. This adds to the reasons why I don't shell out extra money for variants in general. This is in relationship to variant gate that we talked about earlier this week. I like variants, but there are so many variants out there now that it's like another bubble. Every big comic book series is dumping tons of variants on the market now.
Eternals.
Yes, Eternals is a good example. A King, King in Black. It's a trend I don't see ever changing, because the publishers have found that if they simply change the cover, they can have people buy the same book over and over again. And so they have cover A, they have cover B, cover C, cover D, then they have ratio covers for 1 in 10, 1 in 25, 1 in 50, and it's never ending. And frankly, of late, I have really curtailed my variant purchases because you get all excited because one of your favorite artists is doing a book, and it's sells out within the first 30 seconds as it's listed. And that's great. If you want the book for yourself, that's awesome that you have it. But if you have any plans on flipping that book, you better flip it quick, because 9 out of 10 these variant books lose steam within the first 30 days. So now there are exceptions. The Wonder Woman black and gold, the Warren Liu cover, is still hot. I really, really bought into that particular cover, both for my own personal collection, but also as a speculation buy, and that has paid off. But for the most part, these 1 in 10s, 1 in 15s, 1 in 25s, what have you, those covers are going to go by the wayside in the span of a year.
Yeah, I've really stopped myself. The some of you got me in the comments for buying all of the ones that were at Walmart. Yeah, I see what you're saying, but I swear to God, Richard is my witness. I don't normally do that. I wanted to prove a point for the podcast and see how many ratios would be in there. And I couldn't conceivably do that just by buying one or two of those packs. So I kind of had to have a mass amount. And plus, guys, it was the middle of the Moreno Valley Desert. If you want to go there and get the remaining ones, go for it. They were sitting there. No one was touching these.
Right. Look at it this way. John saved you from wondering if there is a 1 in 500 out there in the desert somewhere.
Yeah, I can assure you there's not. But my point is, I've really stayed away from these ratio variants a lot, because I see what's happened with them in the past. Now, what I do still buy, like anything Jack Kirby, if there's a Jack Kirby or a Steve Ditko variant, I'm a sucker for that. The Jack Kirby one for Avengers 50 that they announced this week looks beautiful. It's the back cover of the Marvel Treasury Edition #7. I kind of have to go get that one, I think, because I want to display it. I like the look of it.
Sure, that's the perfect reason to buy them, is because you want it, not necessarily because you think there's money in it. And these variants also sometimes aren't very rare.
No.
I'm thinking of Todd McFarlane's King Spawn that is just being released now. There's 1,675, I think, of that 1 in 50 variant, which is an insane amount for a high variant book. So that is quite the number, and I don't know if because there are so many copies of it out there, the asking price that we're seeing now is going to be sustainable.
Well, if you want a Marvel variant and you missed it, just go wait for Walmart and get in line and make sure you buy it first before my greedy butt gets them all, apparently. All right, my next piece of viewer mail is from our good friend Marcus Vernon, who also emailed us at bronzeandmoderngods@gmail.com. Nice job on some really great shows lately. Not that your other shows were bad. I'm going to stop you there, Marcus. Our early shows were bad.
They were horrible.
If you don't believe us, go listen to them or them right now. We've come a long way, but thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
I've watched other shows on YouTube, but for whatever reason, yours I look forward to every week. Oh, I don't know if it's the formatting or if I just relate more to you guys or whatever it is. I've been enjoying it. Well, are you old?
That helps. Get our jokes.
Okay, here is a viewer mail question for you. How do you organize your comic book collection? A to Z, Marvel, DC, indie, new, old? Do you organize, sort your favorites and keys into your overall collection, or do you have them in a special box? I'll go first. My answer is all the above. I have all my boxes here, generally A to Z, most of it A to Z. But then in the last couple of years, I didn't like clogging up my keepers with the modern books I was buying. I was like, these modern books, I'm not going to keep forever. I'm going to flip them or do something with them eventually. So my modern books from the last couple of years are A to Z, but in separate boxes. On top of that, I got my Hercules books. Hercules is not like Captain America. I know all my Captain America stuff is going to be under C and Captain America, but I collect Hercules covers. I don't just collect Hercules series. Any Hercules cover I got to grab. So Champions, Avengers, Iron Man Annual guest starring Hercules. I've got them all under H in Hercules, then in alphabetical order by series. It's horrible.
Well, I tried when I got back into the hobby. I had a bunch of books, and I went out and bought drawer boxes. If anyone's familiar with those, they are a comic book long box that is like a drawer instead of opening from the top. So I bought a bunch of those, magazine size ones for slabs as well, and I started to organize by title. Um, Typically, the Marvels went in on the first level, DC's and Independence went on the second level. That lasted until I really started speculating, and at that point, I ended up um, doing it differently. I have my big Reggie from Reggie Collects calls it his Oh Sugar box. I've got all of my major keys in one box right now. We're remodeling, so it makes sense to do that. But most of the time, I have them displayed on the walls. Um, and then I have runs. I have my Amazing Spider-Man run, and I have a number of short boxes with that. Then I have my X-Men 94 through 350 run, and it's just in a series of short boxes. And then I sort books by title for if they graduate to the high value speculation books. There's certain boxes for those, and I keep my books for that in a certain area. Um, it's a system of madness, and I think if anybody else was to come in, they would not be able to lay your hands on a book. But for some strange reason, for 90% of the books, I can lay my hands on it within the first 10 seconds.
Well, Marcus, I hope that confuses you even further because you do not have a clean linear line.
We're snowflakes. We're all individual.
Exactly. All right, Richard, what's your next one?
My next comment is from Bobolox. I hope that's how I pronounce his name. It's not Bobolix or something like that. I went heavy into Usagi Yojimbo number 20. That's the book I was talking about last show that introduced a new character, Yujiki. I got the first and second print plus the 1 in 10 variant. Those are great. I like the second prints. There are also some store exclusives. We've been talking about variants here. There's some that I really like off of Stan Sakai's site. If you go to dogu.co, they still have some of the Virgin covers as well as the Albedo 2 covers. So you can avoid some of the high prices you're seeing on eBay right now for these books if you want to sneak over there while they still have inventory. But yeah, I agree. It's a good book to spec on.
Is that the last issue, or has there been another issue since then?
There is I believe 21 is out. I have not been to my LCS here in the last couple of
None of the shops around here have any of them. I don't know if they just didn't order them or if I missed them, but boy, I missed out on that one big time.
Yeah, there was nothing to differentiate it from the regular series, and Stan's series have a following, but if you're not part of that following, you probably aren't putting this in your pull list. So
right. Well, okay, that's another one to add to the pull list, I guess. My next piece of viewer mail comes to us from Rocky, aka Comic Boom. He emailed us again at bronzeandmoderngods@gmail.com. Longer email. I'm going to give you the short version. He has a special way he collects, which I thought was pretty cool. He uses Comicron and he collects books that are struggling, like low print runs, 5 to 10,000. And he wants to support the lower selling books. And also, hey, there's less of them, so there's a better chance of them being valuable. Arrow. Has it finally been canceled by Marvel? I think so. That was one of my picks from a while ago, was Arrow. Anyway, my question to you is, do you also feel like I do that the loss of Comicron detailed sales data is a loss to the comic community as a whole? Even publishers must feel the loss, because how do they know their titles are selling if they have a less comparative data? I emphasize detailed sales analysis, as the current Comicron data is not specific as to specific numbers as they were prior to April of 2020. Curious as to your thoughts. First of all, you know why they don't have numbers anymore?
No, why?
Everybody switched distributors.
Yeah, everybody's not using Diamond anymore.
Exactly. So, from every other business, Netflix, Hulu, Disney, streaming businesses, they don't share their numbers. They're very proprietary with their data. They don't want people to know. They'll put out a press release every now and then and say, this was our most streamed show. Netflix has a trending top 10, which is worded in a way that tells you it's not actually most watched. It's trending. What constitutes trending? Apple podcast charts are the same way. You would assume Apple podcast charts are the most popular podcasts. No, that's not how you hit the charts. You hit the charts because you have a lot of activity, different metrics of engagement, and people are very proprietary. And I think now Disney and Warner are taking advantage of this move to a new distributor to keep that information private.
It is a real loss to the collectors. I have spent a lot of time mining Comicron to find out print runs to determine the rarity of some books, and some books are surprisingly low in their order numbers, under 1,000 for some Shuri books that are going to be, I think, key here shortly. So the fact that we don't have that kind of data makes it just is one less decision point that we have, one less piece of data that we have when we're making decisions on purchases.
If you are Marvel, do you want your parent company knowing that you went to press on a book that had less than 1,000 orders?
Yeah, that's true.
It's a way of going, okay, we get to keep this on the down low now, because it's not an effective use of time or resources. So you want to go where the money is. And if you can, if you still want to help retailers out and goose numbers a bit and kind of play a shell game, it's better that you don't have those small, puny numbers out there. Now, if you want historical data, you don't like going to Comicron every 2 seconds and looking stuff up, and you just want something you can grab off the shelf and flip through. I highly recommend going onto eBay and finding the Comics Buyer's Guide standard catalog of comic books. This is the 4th edition. This was the most recent edition I think they did. What's great about this, it's huge. It lists pretty much everything along with print runs for each year. So you can, if what was the print run of Darkhawk when it got canceled with issue 50? You can flip through here to Darkhawk and look and see that the print run of Darkhawk when it got canceled was a pathetic 124,000.
That's handy, because Comicron, while full of useful data, is a nightmare to search for something specific. And I want to make the point, while the data is not going to be available for new books, if you're looking for a book from 1999, the data is there. 2006, all that data is there, and those numbers aren't changing. I mean, the number of prints, the number of books of Ultimate Fallout #4 is always going to be the same number. So it's still a good useful resource, and I wouldn't stop using just because it's not going to be populated with new data.
Yeah, this is from 2005, so this has everything up to 2005.
Yeah.
What's even more fun is that it's got historical CGC census data included as well. So you can go back and see how many copies of ASM 300 were slabbed back in 2005.
Yeah, snapshots. I would love to see that kind of data available from CGC more than the data they provide now for census.
The Comic Buyer's Guide standard catalog of comic books, 4th edition. So go look for that on the secondhand market. And you've got one last piece of viewer mail.
Yes, my last piece is from Kim Huen. Richard, don't be sad. This is in relationship to my less than optimal experience with Chris Claremont last weekend. It happens. Wanted to talk to writers and artists so many times, but it's a rush and on long lines that I don't want to wait. I will just admire them from afar. Yeah, you're right. It's not something to get too upset about. It's just the opportunities to talk to some of these people. They're disappearing. I mean, Chris Claremont is in his 70s right now, and he may not be doing these shows in the future. There's certain writers and artists I would love to talk to John Byrne, for example. There's certain writers and artists that I would love to talk to just express my appreciation for their work, because some of the things that they've done has really made a change in my collecting hobby, and in comic books in general. For me, changed the the meaning of comic books and the meaning of the stories. There's some writers like James Tinian. I would love to meet him and just express to him my appreciation for the things he's done. It's not important. It's not going to be the end of the world if I don't get to do that. But when I have the opportunity, as I had here, I will stand in line for a number of hours, patiently waiting my turn. All I expect out of that is that when it is my turn, I get that opportunity that I've waited for. And that's kind of what disappointed me in this whole thing. That when I got there to the end, it wasn't the experience I had hoped for.
Yeah, fair enough. You didn't go with me to Mid Ohio Con in 1987 and meet John Byrne?
No.
Wow, I know our mutual friend Forrest, DD Comics fan, did. He just took over Star Brand, and he was at Mid Ohio Con in Mansfield, Ohio, in 1987. And we got to meet John Byrne, and you hear all these horror stories about John Byrne being rude. He was actually very nice and very approachable. He just had rules. No more than 3 books to be signed. Please have it open to the page you want it to be signed. And if you didn't follow those rules, then you got a little snippy, but just do what the guy's asking. You have a really good point about meeting your idols before they're gone. These guys are in their 70s. We don't like to think of it like that because we were kids and we came up with them, but they were older than we were. They were in their 30s already and 20s, and they're getting up there. I feel so lucky. And I'm going to put it on the screen now. And I want you guys to take a second to laugh at my glasses, my hair, my Skids shirt, my Skids pants from 1991.
Snapshot in time.
Yes, I got to meet Jack Kirby. And he was literally walking around by himself at San Diego Comic-Con, walking through the halls, unbothered, unmolested, no one around him. I saw him. I went, wait a second. He was the friendliest guy in the world. Got this picture of me with him with my friend's thumb over the camera lens. Thank you. But at least most of the picture you can see. And I think whatever deities there are every day when I walk by that picture that's hanging over here in my hallway, because I got to meet him.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad you got to meet Chris Claremont, period.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we did have kind of a tangential conversation, nothing directly what I wanted to talk about, but I did get to meet him. He's a very, very nice man, very intelligent. Those opportunities when they come about, take advantage of them, because you don't know when they won't be available. They're not going to be around forever.
I mean, I've been very lucky in my life. I've got to meet lots of people that I am a huge fan of, but there are many I didn't. I never got to meet David Bowie.
Yeah.
I never got to meet Stan Lee.
Yeah.
So if you have the chance, I know shows are still going, not going. It depends on where you live and what the requirements are. If you've got the opportunity, don't be lazy. Don't lay on the couch and go, oh, it's Saturday. Force yourself to get up and shake that guy's hand.
Yep. And even the 3.5 hour wait, I'm surrounded by comic book nerds. We sat there and we talked about different things. So, it's not as onerous as it may sound.
No.
It was definitely worth the experience. Was worth it. It just wasn't exactly what I wanted from as an outcome.
All right, we're getting real maudlin here. So let's move on to the Instagram Market Watch. And our good friend Bill is joining us this week from Elite_Comics11. This is where we look at the notable sales thing on the Instagram platform. I see you're ready to dance, Richard. So let's do it. And here he is right now. It's Bill from Elite_Comics11. What is going on, Billiam?
Welcome. Hey, thanks for having me here. Always happy to join you guys and talk some comics. IG Market Watch.
Awesome. Right. So tell us again about Elite_Comics11, where people can find you and what you do.
Well, that'd be helpful. So Elite Comics 11 is Instagram's #1 comic consignment page. And we do live sales and we have a lot of fun, great community. Come check us out.
Yes, for sure. All right, you got 3 big books this week, all Marvel this week. That's interesting. And some first appearances, some that matter, some that not so matter, as you will see. In my humble opinion, the first one I think is one of the first appearances that doesn't matter too much, but it's still a huge book.
Oh yes, so X-Men issue number 2.
The first appearance of the Vanisher.
You know, I think it's more notable that it's the second appearance.
That's-
than
yeah.
maybe the first appearance.
I think that's why people are gravitating towards it. There's a huge rush to collect all the Vanisher keys. And let's talk a bit of a second for the about the Vanisher. Jack, Stan, what were you thinking? I mean, you got a new book. You got to come out of the gate. You come out swinging with Magneto, and then your follow-up is whoop, bloop single, I guess.
I mean, I guess maybe they thought people like Sue Storm, and they're like, "Hey, let's."
You know what? I'm here. No, I'm not. Boing. Oh my gosh. All right. So tell us about this book.
So this particular copy was a 8.5 off white to white pages, an older slab, you know, 2 older gens. So really a high grade for such an early X-Men book.
For sure. And that cover, deep, rich colors, picks up everything, every imperfection. So 8.5 is really impressive.
And someone was excited to pick it up at $6,800.
I would be excited too, considering the GPA for it is 7,649. So saving about $1,000 there, $800, not too shabby.
Yeah, this is. I think people are gravitating to this because X-Men #1 and it is just out of reach at this point. So you know that trickle down effect where people are now looking for the next book to pick up, and issue #2 makes total sense.
Are you sure it's not because of the Vanisher? All right, the next book, a big one, a big green hulking title.
That would be Hulk, Incredible Hulk, issue #2 in 2.0, sold on the page this week for $2,300. And I want to mention a very important thing: there's a white pager.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I think Hulk, Hulk #1's been out of reach for so long. And this early run is just, it's tough. It didn't sell. It got canceled with issue 6. There aren't a lot of copies out there. Issue 2, first appearance of the Green Hulk. Beautiful Steve Ditko inks on Jack Kirby on this. I love that first. If you've never seen the splash page of issue 2, it's amazing. The last sale on GPA for this was back in February, which is like, 36 years ago. In my mind, it sold for $1,116, but I probably going to assume it was not a white pager, and this title is just exploding. So
yeah, and I think it's really getting its due. I mean, the first Green Hulk appearance, second Hulk appearance overall. These Hulk books aren't easy to get. This one didn't have any writing on the cover. Often these early Hulk books, kids loved their books. So they wanted to market as theirs. So you see a lot of names on them. So to find one without writing on the cover, also of note.
That early Marvel chipping is on display with a lot of these. And let's not forget another milestone first villain appearance, the first appearance of the Toadmen.
Oh,
all right.
Did they go on to fight the Turtles later?
The Toadmen versus the Turtles. I'm down with that. They did fight She-Hulk in issue 2 of her title, which is funny. This is a real first appearance that matters of not one but 2 villains. What's this next one?
Journey into Mystery, issue number 103. We sold on the page a 9.0 off white to white pager. Amazing, 9.0 for $39.50. And amazing.
First appearance of the Enchantress and the Executioner.
Yeah, and I think people are getting excited about the Enchantress, as they should. I think they have in the past, but I think with the MCU opening up like magical characters and all, more of the Thor and Loki mythos, I think people have a strong feeling that the Enchantress Speculation may show up at some point.
GPA last sale for this in a 9.0 was $36.94, so right on target there. Beautiful Jack Kirby cover showing the Rainbow Bridge, Asgard. Jack had back to the title at this point and kind of threw out everything that was being done since he had left after that first couple of issues, where basically Don Blake just turned into Thor to fight bank robbers. Now we actually have Asgard and some real world building. So good on you, Jack.
Yeah, this is a beautiful issue and a notable issue. And in 9-0, I think somebody really got a gem.
For sure. Yep. All right, Bill, thanks so much. Tell us again where people can find you.
Well, come check us out on Elite Comics 11 on Instagram. We also have EliteComics11.com. If you want to sign up for alerts and know when we're going live with our live sales, comics consignment, and just generally an awesome Instagram comic community. What else to say other than come check us out.
Tune into the live sales and watch Bill go silly. It's actually an enjoyable time just watching Bill.
And watch me monopolize the chat with useless trivia of each book that goes up.
No, I love it. I love it. And I love that people's knowledge is growing by, the information that you put out. And I think it's great. We, more informed community is always, let's celebrate the comics.
Imagine if I had gone into like physics or something, or like, I could cure cancer with No, I'm here to tell you the Silver Surfer's real name is Norrin Rad.
That is rad.
All right. Thanks, Bill. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, Bill.
All right. Thank you, Bill. Always fun to have Bill sit in with us. And that is going to do it for this episode. Richard, where can they find us?
They can find us at Bronze and Modern Gods on Instagram and Facebook, or bronzeandmoderngods.com, the website and email address.
You got it. And we will be back Monday. A little teaser for you. We're going to be talking about something that everyone is super excited about. From ages 6 to 60, NFTs.
Yeah, I have thoughts.
We both have thoughts. All right. So that's a teaser. We will see you then.
Everybody stay safe.